The air was crisp, filled with the laughter of children. The streets were alive with the vibrant energy of Halloween night. Little ghosts, goblins, and superheroes roamed the neighborhood, their faces lit up with excitement and anticipation. Costumes danced in the twilight, a kaleidoscope of colors and characters. The joy was palpable, as if the very air was infused with the spirit of celebration. Halloween 1974 promised a night of sweet treats and joyous frights in Deer Park, Texas. The community was tight-knit, and everyone looked forward to this annual tradition. 8-year-old Timothy O'Brien, dressed as a cowboy, bubbled with excitement. His eyes sparkled with the thrill of the night, and his heart raced with the promise of adventure. He couldn't wait to fill his pillowcase with candy. Each house he visited was a new opportunity, a new treasure trove of sweets. He darted from house to house, his laughter echoing in the night. The joy of Halloween was in full swing, and Timothy was at the heart of it all. His was an innocence soon to be stolen. The night, which had begun with such promise, was about to take a dark turn. As the night deepened, a chill settled over the neighborhood. It was a chill that seemed to seep into the very bones of the evening, a foreboding that something was amiss. It wasn't the playful chill of a spooky night, but a harbinger of the horror that was to come. The air grew heavy, and the once joyous atmosphere began to feel oppressive. Little did anyone know that a shadow lurked among the costumed figures, a shadow that moved with a sinister purpose. It blended in seamlessly, unnoticed by the revelers. A shadow that would forever darken the spirit of Halloween. This night, meant for joy and laughter, would be remembered for its darkness and sorrow. Exhausted but happy, Timothy examined his treasure trove of candy. Among the colorful wrappers, a familiar yellow and red package caught his eye. A pixie sticks, its sugary contents promising a sweet explosion. Eagerly he poured the powder onto his tongue. A bitter taste, startling and wrong, instantly overwhelmed him. Confusion clouded his young face. Then came the pain, a searing agony that ripped through his small body. Panic gripped his parents as Timothy's laughter turned to screams. The sweet promise of Halloween had morphed into a nightmare. The ambulance siren wailed, a chilling soundtrack to every parent's worst fear. At the hospital, doctors fought desperately to save Timothy, but the damage was too severe. The diagnosis, cyanide poisoning, a poison, silent and swift, had taken the life of an innocent child. How could this happen? The question echoed through the stunned community. Whispers of poisoned candy spread like wildfire, turning a night of celebration into a time of terror. Parents frantically examined their children's candy, their hearts pounding with each unwrapped treat. Fear, raw and palpable, settled over Deer Park. The investigation began immediately, a frantic search for the source of the poisoned candy. Detectives and forensic scientists worked tirelessly, piecing together every bit of evidence they could find. The community was in shock, and the police were under immense pressure to find the culprit. Parents were terrified, keeping their children indoors, and the media was relentless, broadcasting every new development. Had a disturbed individual, lurking in the shadows, deliberately targeted innocent children? The idea of a monster hiding in plain sight was terrifying. The police had to consider every possibility, no matter how horrifying. Was it a neighbor, a stranger passing through? The fear was palpable, and the community was on edge. The thought sent chills down the spines of investigators. They knew they were racing against time, and the pressure was mounting. Every lead was followed, every tip was investigated, but the answers remained elusive. The fear of another attack loomed large, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Then, the investigation took a shocking turn, revealing a truth more sinister than anyone could have imagined. The detectives uncovered a piece of evidence that changed everything. It was a revelation that no one saw coming, a twist that turned the case on its head. The poisoned pixie sticks, the instrument of a child's murder, had been given to Timothy not by a stranger but by his own father, Ronald Clark O'Brien. Motive? Greed. The community was in disbelief. How could a father do such a thing? The betrayal was unimaginable and the pain was deep. O'Brien, drowning in debt, had taken out life insurance policies on his children, coldly calculating that their deaths would be his financial salvation. The depth of his desperation and the coldness of his actions shocked everyone. It was a chilling reminder of the lengths some people would go to for money. The case was closed, but the scars it left on the community would last forever. The courtroom was silent as the jury delivered their verdict, guilty. The air was thick with tension, every eye in the room fixed on the man who had committed an unthinkable crime. The weight of justice was about to fall, and the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Ronald Clark O'Brien, the man who had betrayed his own flesh and blood, was convicted of capital murder. His face, once a mask of fatherly concern, now revealed the true depths of his betrayal. The courtroom watched as the reality of his actions settled in, a father who had turned against his own child. The evidence was overwhelming. The life insurance policies, meticulously planned and executed, painted a picture of premeditation. Each document was a testament to his cold calculation, a chilling reminder of the lengths he was willing to go for financial gain. The traces of cyanide found in his home, hidden away but not well enough, were damning. They spoke of a sinister plot, a methodical approach to murder that left no room for doubt. The poison, a silent killer, was the tool of his treachery, and his chillingly calm demeanor after his son's death was perhaps the most disturbing evidence of all. In the face of tragedy, he remained emotionless, a stark contrast to the grief-stricken family members around him. His lack of remorse was a window into his dark soul. He was a man who had sacrificed his son's life for the promise of money, a man whose greed knew no bounds. The courtroom could scarcely believe the depths of his depravity, a father who had become a monster in pursuit of wealth, a monster hiding behind a mask of fatherly concern. His true nature was finally revealed. The facade he had maintained for so long crumbled, exposing the sinister intentions that lay beneath. His deception was complete, but justice had finally caught up with him. On March 31, 1984, Ronald Clark O'Brien was executed by lethal injection, his final moments a grim conclusion to a life of deceit and betrayal. The execution chamber was silent, a somber end to a story of unimaginable horror. His sentence a stark reminder that even within the sanctuary of family, evil can lurk. The case of Ronald Clark O'Brien serves as a chilling example of how darkness can hide behind the most trusted faces, a cautionary tale for all. Section 6. The Shadow of Doubt. Despite the overwhelming evidence and O'Brien's conviction, a lingering shadow of doubt remained for some. Could a father truly commit such a heinous act? Over the years, various theories and conspiracies emerged, questioning the validity of the evidence and suggesting alternative perpetrators. Some argued that a disgruntled neighbor or a random act of malice could have been responsible. Others pointed to inconsistencies in witness testimonies and potential flaws in the investigation. However, none of these theories could definitively refute the mountain of evidence against O'Brien. Section 7. A Legacy of Fear. The trick-or-treat murder sent shockwaves through the nation, its impact resonating far beyond the borders of Deer Park. Halloween, once a carefree celebration of childhood, took on a sinister undertone. The image of Timothy O'Brien, his innocent face forever frozen in time, served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. Parents became more cautious, scrutinizing their children's candy, questioning the intentions of strangers, and grappling with the unsettling realization that evil could strike anywhere, even within the supposed safety of their own communities. Section 8. Halloween's Enduring Spirit. Despite the tragedy and the fear it engendered, the spirit of Halloween endured. The tradition of trick-or-treating continued, albeit with a heightened awareness of safety. Parents, determined to reclaim the joy of the holiday for their children, found ways to mitigate the risks without extinguishing the magic. Community events, organized trick-or-treating in safe environments, and increased police presence became commonplace. Halloween, once a symbol of carefree innocence, had evolved, reflecting a society forever altered by the shadow of a senseless tragedy. Section 9. Remembering Timothy. Over 4 decades have passed since that fateful Halloween night, but the memory of Timothy O'Brien lives on. His story serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of greed, betrayal, and the vulnerability of innocence. His name is etched in the annals of true crime, his fate a haunting reminder that monsters often wear familiar faces. As we celebrate Halloween, let us remember Timothy, his tragic end, a testament to the importance of vigilance, the preciousness of life, and the enduring power of hope in the face of darkness.